Okay, so I want to just thank everyone that made this possible, especially the U.S. Consulate and Jennifer. Your vision for this has been just so relevant and timely, and I certainly appreciate being a part of it with the Global Diaspora Connection that I made affiliation with through Kelley. And so I want to just thank Kelley as well for allowing me to come into the platform from the outset. The discussion here is race and religion, and I thought about whether or not I wanted to take this topic on, despite my decades of experience, interest, education, and participation in the subject of religion. Obviously, you can see from the screen that I would have my own association, familiarity with the concept of race. So I thought that I would take it on. So religion is a very broad term. It's not just Christian, Muslim. It's not just any other kind of Baha'i, any kind of religion you can think of that plays a part in our life. Although obviously I've come from a slant of being a Christian pastor, I've also had the opportunity to study the I would call it the eclectic components of religion by studying at the King Institute. As you know, Martin Luther King had an eclectic ministry. It wasn't just about Christianity, but it was about religion and, more importantly, faith. So let me touch on some of the other slides here, and this is where it's going to be a challenge for me. Moving to the next slide. Yesterday, I knew how to do this.
Pastor Kelley?
Huh?
Right on top, it says slideshow. Please click on slideshow after animation.
Slideshow.
Yes.
That might work for me.
Then begin from beginning. Then it will start for you. Then you can just use arrows. At the beginning, the first, please click on it. Yes. On your left, yes, on your left. On
my left, from the beginning.
Yes, yes.
Aha.
Perfect.
All right, isn't God good? Yeah, race and religion. So we know across the globe for decades, the church has been essentially champions of the oppressed. There's always been a Black global church movement, one of faith, freedom and liberation. Impact has also been a subject across many types of churches and many types of faiths. They've also been champions for civil rights. They've gathered unity based on the analysis of racism and injustice in the various communities. And equally important, they've been guardians to defend the oppressed. Churches have been strongholds because they are the architects of what we call religion. They've been strongholds for community upliftment, as well as creating social order through their own respective doctrinal teachings. I think regardless of what we call a church or religion, for the most part, religion has some common denominators. They all believe in faith, hope, love, charity, peace, upliftment, reconciliation, atonement, justification, and justice. And so it's very appropriate that we talk about the church and which is the manifestation of various types of people's religion, because it is an important anchor in our society. Let me go a little further, if I could. Black Lives Matter and religion. I just threw out some thoughts here that I wanted to share. I probably went a little further than I should for a PowerPoint explanation, but I just wanted to make sure I clearly touched on anything. Questions of relevance today have arisen with the killing of George Floyd. Does the church and faith community leadership, does it relate? Can the church community really deal with the fact that now, for the first time, there's a difference in the perception of white religion, white churches, and how they relate to the Black community in a period like this, in periods like this in the past? Diversity and inclusion questions beg the question of questionable representation. Are our churches, our religion belief systems, are they structured with people who capably represent what inclusion and diversity ought to be about? Can the remnants of the Southern Baptist dogma in the United States become transformational, where women are not included, Blacks are not included, certain types of people from certain communities are not included, and certain doctrinal beliefs are not included? Women in having abortions are not included. Poor people who want to be on welfare perhaps are not included. So there have been some, I would say, foundational anchors in particularly Western society that have been established by some church groups that are clearly in opposition with what the Black Lives Movement is about. Other points of contention certainly would be impactful participation of Black church in the streets of Black communities under attack by new vanguards of civil rights and social justice. Back in the days of Martin Luther King, we found that the Black church eventually became prominent in the civil rights movement. But where are they today? Don't just use the challenges of the streets and the communities for sermon texts. Can the church and its religion reconcile the issues of systemic racism, beginning with its own realities?